over me. Run through the land, you run through my soul. Bring me wisdom and peace. Run through all ages and all of life's stages. You bring me around to find my release.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have Marie LeClaire with us, and it's an encore visit. She has a new book, and it is called 1,000, I haven't read it yet, 1,000 Buddhas, but who's counting? What made you write this? What is this?
Well, so this is not a book about Buddhism.
Yeah.
However, there's a Buddhist tradition that says that when 1,000 Buddhas have been born, that humanity will evolve into the next age or level of consciousness or something.
Yeah.
So it turns out that we're only on Buddha number 4, depending on who you talk to.
Yes, there's 4 strangers.
So I take a little liberty with the tradition, and I say that we're at 999.
Okay.
Right, and so this is the story is about the last 4 Buddhas.
Yeah.
And where they are and who who finds them, and so it turns out that there's a monk in my imagination.
Yeah.
There's a monk in the Himalayas, in a cave, who is responsible for counting the Buddhas.
Okay.
And so when it gets to be now, all of a sudden we're at the 990s, right? There's this part of the tradition says that at least half of the Buddhas have to live to enlightenment.
They have to live to what?
To enlightenment.
Okay.
So the monk enlists the help of our reluctant heroes to locate the Buddhas and to keep them safe. And so that's what the story is about. The story is about these 4 unlikely
they're right here.
Advocates.
4 missions to save the Buddha. Okay, and the 4 strangers: a young executive about to get married, a young woman seeking adventure, a man running away from his bad boy past, and a widower looking for meaning. So 4 missions to save the Buddhas: a 23-year-old in Japan, a 13-year-old in Chicago, a newborn boy in Guam, and a baby girl in New York City. How long did it take you to write this? There's a lot here.
Yes, not that long, really.
Yeah.
So once an idea gets in my head, it just kind of fills itself in.
Have you ever been to the Buddhist? It's up in Grafton, off of 140.
No.
I haven't. We drove up there one time. It looked a little spooky, but I think I've heard if you go in, it's okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
You know,
I'm sure it's
I
lovely.
wouldn't mind.
But the story came from a place in Montana, just north of Missoula, called the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas. And so there's this beautifully manicured garden where there is literally 1,000 statues of the Buddha.
Just like on the cover of
celebrating this tradition.
Yeah.
And really, in theory, preparing for the 1,000 Buddhas. And so it's also a monastery, and they have classes and
meditation.
And meditations.
That's
and
what I would go for.
But it is very, very beautiful. And so I was traveling around, and I happened upon it. And so the story wrote itself.
Did you take the picture yourself?
I did not.
Who took it?
No. I get my covers from online.
You do?
I purchase them
because it's perfect.
I purchase them from professional photographers. I mean, it is perfect, isn't it? I know, right?
Yeah. You know, it catches your attention right away. You know, you're going to have a copy downstairs in the library.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so if you're looking for Marie LeClaire's book, it's 1,000 Buddhas, but who's counting? Can't miss it. It's got big Buddha right on the front.
I know.
So now,
It
this just came out. Have you been getting out yet with it, or are you just beginning to sprout with it?
Well, a little bit of both. I spent a lot of November and December, not a lot, but some of November and December doing the craft fairs and Christmas shows.
Those were your other books, right?
Yes, and so in addition to my other books, so I was selling all 3 of them.
The Last Yard Sale, loved it.
My first one.
And Soldier's Last Mission.
Yeah.
Some of you may remember when she was on before. Were you on during the summer or last?
It was just the beginning of fall.
Okay.
I think it was October when I was here.
You are a busy girl.
Yeah, because the last Buddha hadn't come out yet.
You're putting a book out every 6 months?
Well, yes and no. You know, it's interesting because, for instance, the first two came out within 6 months of each other.
Yeah.
But I didn't write them within 6 months of each other.
No.
So the last yard sale sat on my virtual shelf, for 6 years.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I was writing the other book, and so the same with this is that I was actually working on the story.
Yeah. How did you
for
hear?
quite a while.
You went and visited, right?
I went and visited,
and it just got your imagination going, and you were able to come up with the characters who were in the book.
Yep.
And it just came to you.
Yep.
Would you consider this? Well, it's fiction, but it's kind of based on the reality of what they believe, isn't it?
Only very loosely. So I took this one tiny Buddhist tradition and I integrated it into present day culture. And so the idea, my idea that goes along with this is that even though by the strictest tradition, the last Buddha, who died 500 years before current era, was only number 4. Depending on who you talk to. And so I imagined that there were actually Buddhas born all over the place, that there's all kinds of Buddhas, and that they're not all Buddhists. So for instance, in my story, I consider Gandhi to be a Buddha, and I consider Mother Teresa to be a Buddha. And so in that way, there's been many Buddhas that have been born, and Buddhas that have been born but have not lived long enough to reach enlightenment for one reason or another. So in my story, some of the Buddhas died in the Black Plague, or in various other ways, and so in that sense, it stretches way beyond the Buddhist tradition.
Is it Indian, Middle Eastern? What is it, or is it Asian?
It originated in India, and it's a next generation, if you will, from Hinduism. So Judaism is to Christianity as Hinduism is to Buddhism.
Okay. So there's a tie there.
Yes.
Definitely. Have you been up to the, I don't know if you get up to Ashland at all, but there is a
Lakshmi
temple up there. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I imagine it's beautiful.
Indian, I think they brought in all of the, it looks like a Hollywood set. They brought in all of the building from overseas.
Oh, they brought the whole thing over.
It's huge.
Yeah. Very beautiful and very painted and very colorful.
She just shared with me, Marie said that her mom, congratulations, is going to celebrate, hello Mom, her 90th birthday.
90.
When it gets it, what day?
90. It's September 17th, so we've got a while.
So she did. Okay. Oh.
But she turns 90 this year.
And she's going strong.
She's going strong. Hi, Mom.
Now, Nathan is the main character, right? Mm. Okay, he stumbles upon a monk in a cave who sends him on a quest to find an unknown 13-year-old boy in Chicago. Will he find him? And if he does, will he be able to keep him safe? 3 other people have similar missions. At least one must be successful. This almost is like what's very popular right now. It's almost, although it's based on a truth, it's almost like a fantasy. Is it?
Oh, it's total fantasy. It's, well, not fantasy, but total fiction. There's no...
It's not based
on... There's no grain of truth to it.
I thought they had that Buddhist had that.
Well, the initial Buddhist tradition is correct.
Yeah.
That after 1,000 Buddhas are born, but they're not planning.
They're not.
I mean, they're only on 4.
Yeah.
In all of history.
Yeah.
In all of...
This is going to be quite a while before
history. Right. So even until we get to 5, it's going to be a while.
Now, is there going to be a sequel to this, or you've got to have a whole other idea?
My stories all seem to kind of end with a little bit of potential, I'll say.
I haven't read it yet.
But it is a complete story.
Yeah.
However, it also does have the potential to have another piece to it, I'll say.
You have spent the last 30 years as a mental health counselor, encouraging others to look beyond our sometimes limited perspective and see a bigger picture of what influences our lives and guides our behavior. Do your clients, patients know you're an author?
No.
They don't know?
No, there's a ethical guideline in psychotherapy that you don't share your personal life with your clients.
I know, but it is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I know. It is pretty
Just
cool.
leave them out on the counter. Here. Now, being a counselor, how did you get into writing? That's a whole different...
I just sort of happened into writing, and I equate it in some ways to, in general, as people get older and their responsibilities to, I'll say, the world kind of fall away. It's not uncommon for people to pick up a creative art. People learn to play an instrument or learn how to paint, right? And so for me, it just happened that one day I just wrote a story.
Now, the next one coming up, no, you can't give us a hint.
Well, I do have one I have a couple in the works, which one of them will be a little bit of a side road to this sort of tempo and format of these three, in that it'll be a little bit more along the lines of a fantasy. So it takes place in present day, but there are lots of ghosts and undead people and
the paranormal
and magic. Yeah. There's a little bit, a lot more.
Did you watch Paranormal on TV? They've souped it up to too many of those shows.
Yeah.
There's one called Ghost Adventures. I have to wonder if they're acting or if it's for real.
Those are the ones that actually go out and look for ghosts. Like ghost hunters.
Okay, it's a team of 4 guys.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
They took off the one called Paranormal Lockdown, which is really for this couple would go in and spend 2 or 3 nights locked down.
Yeah.
It's serious, and evidently the channels weren't taking this and that, and it went to the Ukraine. It went gone. That's it's just like that. But there's a slew of them on now.
There's a lot. It does. The supernatural stuff, I think, ebbs and flows, and especially now with the superheroes, they kind of actually fall into that category to some extent, in that sort of bigger than life paranormal, right? Most of them have some kind of paranormal something.
Sure. Yeah. Remember the Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
Now
right.
That's not. Is that fantasy? The Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja.
I suppose it could be. Yeah. It could fall into that.
A number of years ago,
into that.
Two or three other of my friends. There used to be a theater in Milford. I said one day, "Come on, let's go." It was the first Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I said, "Let's go have fun."
Back in the day,
I'm probably the only adults in the thing.
Yeah. It is a little bit of a
blast.
Yeah.
We each had a favorite turtle. To this day, I'll sing the song.
Right.
It's like, well, you know,
right. Well, very much like Harry Potter, which started out to be a children's, sort of youngish adult kind of in that age bracket, became extremely popular across the board.
I could not get into that book.
The Harry Potters.
Did you read them?
I read them all.
Yep. You did?
I read them all. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
There's another one out.
Back in the day.
The Children. Well, some French name of Children of Benedict.
I understand. Oh.
It's a series. Now, you were appearing at the Hopedale Day in the Park.
Yes, I did. I was at the library.
In the library?
No. The day, not the day in the park. The Twinkle Walk or Winter. Their winter walk. I don't know what they call it.
Were you on the sidewalk or in the library?
No. I was in the library.
They were downstairs in that room.
No, I was upstairs. With just off the information desk with four other authors.
I bet you met Glenn Inkler, older gentleman with a beard. He writes mysteries.
Yes,
he is a hot ticket.
Yes,
hello,
yes.
Glenn. Oh my gosh, that's Glenn too. He has been on this show. I think he puts a book out every year.
Oh yes, yeah.
And they're like the mysteries of like Cape Cod and this type of thing. So you were one of 4.
4. It might have been 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
How
6.
did they fit you all in there? I mean, that's not that big a space before checkout.
It wasn't bad. We each had our own table.
Yeah.
And I was actually not on one of the rounds. I was up at the fireplace. So it worked out well. It was just fine. Yeah, it was really fine.
She also went to up to Webster to Book Lovers Gourmet.
Book Lovers Gourmet.
I've been there. She met Deb Horan. She has been in charge of that. That's her baby.
Yes.
And she is wonderful. Artists and authors, both.
Yes, she is very happy to entertain local creative people in general and carry products. And she has a bookshelf specifically for local authors.
Like we have downstairs. Yeah.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. Marie Leclerc we're talking with, and she's back with us. She has another book, 1,000 Buddhas, but who's counting? And Marie, how can they, if they don't come on downstairs to borrow your book, how can they buy it?
So it is for sale at the Book Lovers Gourmet and also at the Enchanted Passages bookstore in Sutton. which is also, it's a very delightful bookstore. It's a little bit more a kid's bookstore, but it does have some, now she's starting to branch out a little into the young adult and adults. And you can buy them at Annie's Book Swap, or Book Stop in Worcester. So those are places you can purchase them. You can also borrow them from the Upton Library and from the Hopedale Library, and soon, hopefully, from the Worcester Library. I just have to get myself down there, but I understand they'll take local authors.
That Annie's Bookstop in Worcester, it took me forever to find her. Oh.
Yes, you have to sort of be coming at it at the right angle.
I was coming at it from, let's say, Cambridge Street, and then I'm going down, I'm like, it's in this shopping plaza, and it's kind of tucked in.
It is tucked into the short leg of this L-shaped shopping plaza. So hopefully, last time I was there, the plaza itself was getting an upgrade, so hopefully her signage.
Where do they put everybody who come to see the author? Where do they put you? It's small.
It is tiny.
Well, where do they put
She has a tiny place. There's a tiny room in the back.
Okay, it's in the back.
And the tiny room, it's the children's room, actually.
Okay.
And so she would normally have tables set up for coloring or whatnot. And so she sets up a couple of card tables in there. So.
Did enough people come? Was it a day and a lot of people?
When I did a book signing there over the summer, and it was during was it a Saturday afternoon? Yeah. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and so honestly, I didn't get that much.
They had one. They had a Annie's Bookstop in Northborough off of Route 20.
Yes.
And when I just find out about it, they've closed.
It has closed. It was there for 35 years. She was there.
I don't know why.
What did she tell me? Well, they were retiring. And nobody was interested in it. Yeah, they were retiring and nobody was interested in it.
No kid out there would love to have a job at a bookstore?
No, apparently.
That's really something.
So,
Marie, going back, did you grow up in this area?
I grew up in Worcester.
In Worcester.
Born and raised in Worcester.
Born and raised. Born at Memorial? Or
no, St. V's.
St. V's.
When they was up on the hill.
The other one. Have you seen it? Have you seen it now? It's like a whole bunch of it was chopped away.
Yes. Yes. It's like not even there. I know.
I remember visiting of somebody in there years ago when it was still intact.
Yeah.
His room, was the most depressing box.
Well, it was a very, very old hospital for sure. It was well deserved upgrade to downtown Worcester for sure.
Yeah, and of course you got UMass and all. Now, so you grew up in Worcester. Where did you go to college?
I went to college. Well, I graduated from Worcester State. Yeah. But not after high school. So it took me about 10 years, I think, to get my bachelor's degree.
That's okay.
And then...
What was it in? Was it in English?
It was in earth science. My bachelor's degree was in earth science, and then I went back for a master's degree in clinical counseling at Antioch. Antioch, New England Graduate School is in Keene, New Hampshire.
Now, is it in Nashville? Where is it? Keene State University.
Keene State.
I went to Plymouth State.
Down the street from Keene. Yep.
Oh, it's very close.
Yeah.
They didn't have what you wanted at the Keene State one?
They didn't have what... Nothing's simple for me. So I'll just say that I went to graduate school for a very specific kind of counseling, which is called dance movement therapy. And it's the idea that through moving our physical bodies, we release those things that are held, those emotions that are held in our bodies. Yeah. And so it's essentially, it's an entire master's program in clinical counseling with the addition of the movement. So in the same way that art therapy is used to help people to express things that are nonverbal.
Have you met Nancy? Oh, forgive me, Nancy. She invented the octoband. And
I don't even know what that is.
It's along that physical sense where she goes, especially where patients are having like maybe a little bit of memory disorders, things like that. In the octoband, everybody gets a piece. It's like when you go to physical therapy, that nice band.
The stretchy.
Yeah. Everybody, there's the octopus in the middle, and everybody, and they get to play. It's over at...
I like it.
Oh, the Oasis?
I would say it probably is along the lines of dance movement therapy, because the other thing about dance movement therapy is that it invites people to be part of a group with nonverbal activities. And that you can still, even if you are a person who is so so timid or so injured or so frightened that you can't verbally share with people, that you can engage with people in other ways. Yeah. And so you can make that connection through things like the octopus.
The Octoband. Nancy Bluestein.
Ball games.
Yeah.
You know, other kinds of shared movements.
So when people come to you, do you teach them about the dance and how to connect?
Well, so again.
Here we go.
As soon as I graduated from Antioch,
yeah.
Managed Care had just come really on board full steam, and they were refusing to pay for anything that was not within a very narrow scope.
Yeah, God help us if it, preventative medicine.
And so dance movement therapy was one of those things which used to be available in all state hospitals and residential programs and even in private practice and various other places, schools. The insurance company wouldn't pay for it anymore, so the hospitals weren't offering it. And so anyway, so I went on to just do what is more commonly called talk therapy. But the question which started this off was why Antioch?
Yeah.
Because at the time there were only 4 places in the country where you could get a master's degree in dance movement therapy.
How many years did you put it? 2, 3? 2 years.
2 years.
You knew exactly what you
60 credits, which is way more than your average master's degree.
Did you know you were going to write books as well as
No. I started writing books just in the last few years.
We're talking with Marie LeClaire. She's come up with her 3rd book. God knows there'll be more.
There is.
1,000 Buddhas, but who's counting? How can they get your book?
So, besides Amazon and Barnes & Noble online, you can buy them at the Book Lovers Gourmet in Webster, the Enchanted Passages in Sutton, and Annie's Bookstop in Worcester.
What's the name of the lady, so sweet, who runs Annie's Bookstop? I've talked with her a zillion times.
You would ask me now.
Well, I'm looking for a book, and
Sue?
I don't want to buy it brand new. I want to see if it's new.
Yeah.
Sue, she's this little gal.
She's she's very, very sweet, very chatty. Yep.
Now, what's coming up for you for appearances? Prepare people here.
Yes, and so if you would like to talk with me directly, first of all, you can just go to my website and email me. I'm pretty responsive.
Tell them Marie.
My email is marie@mleclaire.com, MLECLAIRE.com, and you can come talk with me if you want at the Worcester Senior Center on Thursday, January 23rd at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Ouch.
Well, it's the Senior Center.
Why do they all... Okay, a lot of us are coming up in the ranks. Are they going to kind of notice that a lot of people aren't
morning people? What? Aren't?
How about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? What the heck?
Well, I'm thinking they were fitting me into their schedule, so I don't know if you're familiar with the Worcester Senior Center, which I think is true for a lot of senior centers. They have a busy schedule.
Yeah, it starts at about 9 in the morning.
You got to wedge yourself in.
9 in the morning?
10.
I'll see something
10.
and I think, I might stop by. That looks good. But I'm like, I'm not going to stop by. No
but
way.
Obviously you're not a morning person, though.
I'm not a nasty person. I'm in a good mood. That's not the problem.
Right.
It's just that ever since I was a kid, seriously, so my father, I needed a lot of sleep. Maybe that's just how I returned.
Right.
If I'm reading till 1 or 2, let's say I'm reading your book till 1 or 2 in the morning, if I have nothing in the morning, I have to get to. My husband's sick, so we go.
Mm-hmm. Right. But otherwise,
I'm good for 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
My friends look at me like, how the hell do you do? I'm like, it just happens. My father was like that till he'd work all night in his office at home, sleep all morning.
Yes, yeah, and so I think that there's just morning and night people.
Not grouchy though.
No, not necessarily, not necessarily, but just your preference. And so for me, like I'm up at 5. If it's 7 o'clock, I've way slept in. I've overslept. So I'm up early in the morning, but I'm fortunate in that I don't have anywhere to go, and so I just mill around and have my coffee and catch up on my emails and surf the internet and read the paper, and maybe I'll write a little.
Does the day seem long to you? Being
Not at all. No.
See, if I'm up at 11, okay, that part of the day's shot. So
Right. You actually start at, you're having your coffee at 11.
Well, people are having lunch at 12.
You're
like
having.
our producer, Glenn Fowler, and I, they're probably having his lunch at a normal time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having breakfast.
Right.
It's
right.
If you could appear anywhere coming up, what are you aiming to be? What do you think?
Well, so I'm aiming to do a talk at the Shrewsbury Senior Center and also at the West Boylston Senior Center. So those are kind of on my radar, sort of in progress. I have done an interview already at Bolton Community Access.
Not Mendon yet, though, right?
Not Mendon yet.
Yeah.
And I have one coming up on the Acton channel. I'm going to also working on getting on a Shrewsbury and Worcester.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah, Robin.
Yes, she
in
has.
Acton. In Acton?
No, in Shrewsbury, Robin, her first name is on their cable.
Oh,
she interviewed
I'll have to
me.
look. Okay.
Robin's, I think she's been on here at least once, maybe twice.
Okay.
She has an interview show.
Okay.
Excuse me, Robin, I can't remember your last name, but I can see her clear as a bell. Yeah.
So I'll look for it. So I'm going to be doing that, and then once the weather gets nicer, I'm going to be hitting the craft fairs again because those are, first of all, they're a ton of fun for me. I get to just chat with everybody all day long. As you can imagine, I'm a little bit of a chatterbox.
But you know, an author will say to me, why would I go to a craft fair? I'm like, because, my friend, you may be the only one who stands out.
Yes.
As people go, I know you go down the aisle and you go, an author.
Well, you go down the aisle and this one's making glass, and this one's cutting wood, and this one's crocheting, and this one's making glass, and this one's cutting wood, and this one's knitting, and this one's, and so I find for me that I am somewhat of a novelty.
That's what I count on.
At the craft fairs, and so it's like a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, and for some reason they don't make the initial connection that I'm the author. I'm not. So I need to get a little button that says, I am the author.
Well, we've got Valentine's Day coming up, so I think some of the craft fairs and events may be centered. And the sooner we get towards spring and this and that,
then it'll really pick up.
We're going to have to close. But, Marie, one more time, how can they get a hold of you?
You can email me directly through my website or just directly to Marie at mleclaire.com. And you can also find my books online on... and I also have a Facebook page and an Instagram, so you can find me there. And you can purchase my books online at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Also, the next one coming up is January what? Milford and Worcester?
January 23rd, I will be at the Worcester Senior Center at 10 a.m.
Oh.
For the morning people. I'll work on getting an afternoon appearance for the afternoon people.
Can I bring a sleeping bag?
Bring your pillow.
You could guess.
Come in your jammies.
Going to school was not fun.
It must have been hard.
My mother had to get me up at 6. And she made sure there was breakfast, which is all set. She could launch me out the door.
Right.
But I'm sure you're going to be back again.
I hope so.
The other one might be done when, do you think, the next book?
My goal is soon. My goal is soon. But I'm one of those people that writes when it moves me. I don't.
You'll let me know.
Yeah, I don't push myself
in
that regard. You're very welcome.
And happy birthday to your mom again.
Yes, I know, right?
90 years young. Are you kidding me?
90. Yeah.
May we all.
I know. Yes.
See you next time. Would be my guest.